Hey, this is Rick from FreedFromWork, and you're probably wondering why I have my cool hat on today. Well, I'm going to talk to you a bit about hiking emergency beacon and Mike and Rick Outdoors and what's going on right now with our analytics. Not so much how much money we're making, because Mike's very private, and it's just, I'm not going to talk to you about the numbers. I'll talk to you about some trends. But I want to tell you about some trends and some analytics that are going on with our websites and our YouTube channels, and then plus tell you a little bit about what's happening right now with us, what we're doing, and what we're getting prepared for. So let me start off real fast. This is December 11th or 12th, 2022. And what I'm really going to look at doing is basically one video a week. So I'll tell you what's going on per week with the good and the bad. And I've got a lot of great things to tell you. But first off, Mike just had hernia surgery. So they cut into him 3 different times. He told me, he said, I'm going to be up and going by this weekend. And I didn't say anything. I'm like, yeah, right, whatever. Well, he's laid up for at least 2 weeks. So this is part of what we deal with and you're going to deal with in your life, is things happen. So Mike had all these things he was doing for Mike and Rick Outdoors. His tent set up. He was looking at doing some more rural, kind of rugged tents, or not without a tent. What you do with a little bit of stuff and how you would sleep and survive. Maybe you have to kill something, cook it over the fire. And he's actually been doing that. He's been preparing for all that, and he wanted to finish this weekend. Well, now he's 3 weeks off. So things that we were planning on doing with our website and YouTube channel have been delayed. But that's okay, because something that recently has happened. We've been on 2 fishing trips. And again, I'm talking about Mike and Rick Outdoors right now. We've been on 2 fishing trips to the Miramonte Reservoir in southwest Colorado, and he caught some really large fish, an 18-inch brown trout, a 20-inch rainbow trout, and they get up to 22 to 24 inches in that reservoir, and there's quite a few of them. So we've been out there recently. Went out there in September and then in October, and we reviewed camping gear. We had fishing videos. I got drone videos. We've just got so many things that I have probably 3 months worth of videos to create. And because we have that backlog of videos and articles that I can create, when something's happened to myself or him, there's things that we can do, and I don't have to go, what are we going to video now? We don't have anything. So that's a real tip for all of you, is make sure you plan ahead, do things in advance, get things stacked up so that you don't always have to go out into the mountains or go fishing or hunting to get that video. You're going to go out, and in fact, I just recommend this, go out at one time and get 20 videos. And you may be really busy on that outing, but get those videos, organize them. I put them by dates, and so I list them under Mike and Rick, Hiking Emergency Beacon. I list them by dates and I give them names, and I put my videos and photos, anything I've done for that video or article, I organize them. And I typically organize them when I'm out on the trip. When we were out on this last trip to the Miramonte Reservoir in November, we had our 4-season tents. We were warm, but it was really cold that night, down to 12, 15 degrees. So we were warm in our tents, and I would go in with my laptop and I would organize stuff, because it was dark by 4:30, 5 o'clock. We'd eat, and there'd still be 2 hours of, what do you do? So instead of getting home and organizing everything, I would organize everything there in the tent. And then when I got back, then it's only a matter of saying, okay, what do I want to do first? What's my priorities? What video's next? So that's what's currently going on with him and myself. I'm not injured nor have had surgery. He has. So I wanted to get that out of the way first. But the next thing I wanted to tell you about was what's generally going on with our websites. And Mike and Rick Outdoors, again, I want to go back to, we have 3 websites. Mike and I have one, that's Mike and Rick Outdoors. Then I have Hiking Emergency Beacon, and what you're watching here is FreedFromWork. On Mike and Rick Outdoors, we have the most subscribers right now. We have basically 1,060, I think it is. So now we're able to be monetized on YouTube. We do make some money on the affiliate programs with Bass Pro Cabela's and Amazon. Doesn't cost anybody any money when people go through those links to buy anything. We just get a little bit of commission. So Mike and Rick Outdoors seems to be going the best, but not quite. Hiking Emergency Beacon, which I started 3 years ago in 2019. Mike and Rick Outdoors, we started in 2020. So Mike and Rick Outdoors has more subscribers and more views because it's cool stuff. It's catching a great fish or getting that big buck, and people want to see that and watch it, but they only watch it a lot of times for a short period of time. Hiking Emergency Beacon, I now have 670 or 80 subscribers. Last year, 1 year to this date almost, I had 90 or 95 on Hiking Emergency Beacon. Well, now I'm at about 680. No, 780. And it's growing between, say, 5 and 7 on average per day, where Mike and Rick right now is growing 3 to 5 a day. And it's trending up. And this is what I wanted to get to. Everything is trending up. If you look at the analytics and the graph, the watch time. Now, let me go back to say real quick. I have almost twice as much watch time on Hiking Emergency Beacon as we have in Mike and Rick Outdoors. But there's almost twice as much views on Mike and Rick Outdoors. What happens on Hiking Emergency Beacon is people are doing research, and I'm getting into real detail of these satellite messengers. What do they do? How do they message? How does the SOS work? What types are there? And can you look at, can you see a map, or can't you see a map? Or how good is it at messaging? So I get into real detail, and I do field tests, and I tell people about it, and I'm very interactive. People ask me questions, and sometimes I go back out and I do another video to test what they asked me about. So people are researching and spending a lot of time watching what I'm going over here in Colorado with those satellite messengers. Where Mike and Rick Outdoors is, hey, this is a quick view, it's a cool video, and then they're off to something else. That's starting to change though, because we are getting into a lot of camping things. So on this last trip, we had tent setups, we had stove and oven setups, and we went through a lot of detail of that and how you cook food in this oven and light it. And we had the big buddies and the portable buddies and the 20-pound tanks and how you connect them and how you stay alive, or at least are comfortable when it's 12 to 15 degrees at night. So people are going to start watching that a lot more and see, how did we set that tent up, and how do we do it by ourselves as one person instead of having two people. So everything right now is just trending up, and we're starting to make more money, and we're getting more watch time, and Mike and Rick Outdoors is monetized, and so we're starting to make money on advertisements there. I've already, as you've seen, I've already shown graphs on the screen about what's happening. We have not hit, and I'm going to say we a lot because it's Mike and I doing Mike and Rick Outdoors, and it's me doing FreedFromWork and Hiking Emergency Beacon. But Mike and I talk a lot, and we are so interactive on what we're doing and what we're planning. Again, I'm going to use the word we. But we have not hit the 1 million subscribers or views, and we're not just rocking it and making all this money, but we're building it. And this is what this website's all about. It's this journey that I'm on, and then Mike and I are on. And I'll just reiterate this one time here is, I had to work on Mike for, I want to say 5 years, but maybe it was only 3 years of pushing him or encouraging him to start up a website, and he wouldn't do it. So we ended up starting this website where he's going out and fishing and hunting, and then I go out with him a lot too, and then we'll camp. I'll do the video and the articles, and I'll write them up, and I take care of the website and then YouTube channel. We're about equally busy because it takes a lot of effort to get prepared to go out and fish or hunt and all that. That's great. He loves doing it. We both have our things we like. Eventually here, and I'd say probably in a week or two, I'm going to dive deeper into, probably the first one is going to be Hiking Emergency Beacon. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you in just real brief summary of how I set the website up, how simple it is. And I'll have screenshots, and I don't want to overcomplicate it, but how I set it up, and then how mentally I went through what I was going to pursue, how I was going to do reviews on that site, and my mindset. And what some people do, everybody's different. I know that I had to do a particular thing for myself because mentally I have to be prepared to do reviews and be very thorough and eventually to become an expert in satellite messengers. So that's what's coming up probably, and this is part of what I do too, is what I want to tell you about is I'm planning and thinking about right now, one, this video here. Well, the next video, am I going to be talking about hiking emergency beacon and how that got going and what I'm currently doing? What satellite messenger am I going to buy next? What two messengers am I going to compare against each other? Am I going to buy another watch? I've got a Garmin Fenix 7X Sapphire Solar right here. My daughter just got the Garmin Epix 2, I believe it is. Have the screenshots up of that. And it has topo maps. They're both adventure watches. So I have that on Hiking Emergency Beacon. And she's going to be on a video with me telling about what she likes about the Epic. So these are all things I'm thinking about, planning. And so what happens on a daily basis, whether I'm falling asleep or I'm out waiting in line at a drive-through, or my wife and I are watching a movie but I'm not that interested in it and I'm taking notes. I'm constantly doing my best to engage with my family and be part of the family. Yet when I have downtimes, I'm tracking, taking notes, thinking about what's next. Because this is a long process. And I wrote a blog article on Wealthy Affiliate yesterday, I believe. And I showed everybody the statistics and the trends, what's happening on Hiking Emergency Beacon. And in that, I told everybody, I said, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. If you want to get into this in a month or two and you've got to hit it big or you're done. Well, just don't do it. You have to play the long game here. It's the marathon, not the sprint. You might hit it big within 6 months to a year. You might not hit it big for 5 years. It doesn't matter. If you're passionate about it and you have a vision about it and you know what you're going to do, then just go do it. Take the steps, start doing it. Don't think it all has to happen right now or it's over. You're never going to get too far in life if you stop that fast. Creating websites, as I'm doing here, you have to wait at least a year, because even though setting up a website is simple overall, there's so many things to learn to be better at it. And as you create videos, you're going to learn how to speak better. For instance, right now, I used to have so many ums, and Mike has and ums all through the videos. And no joke, it takes me forever to edit out all those and ums. So he sounds intelligent, and he is intelligent. But I was telling Mike, and this is all part of this process of planning and thinking and getting better, you have to practice right now of getting rid of the ums. Even things like so and. You're putting in things like that, like, and like, okay, I'm still dealing with that word. But everybody around me says these words, and it's hard. But you might be talking, and instead of going, you might say, so, well, what you're doing is you're filling that empty space with something, a sound, that while you're thinking. Well, my thing is just get used to the silence. Pause. Because when you pause, especially when you're doing a video or you're talking, maybe you're giving a speech, but when you're doing a video and you can pause, then for me as a video editor, it's easy for me to clip those out. If somebody's talking real fast and going, and so, and da-da-da-da, for me to clip that out and make it sound natural is nearly impossible. So slow down when you speak, learn how to do things now, practice, make plans, think about what you're going to do, start doing them. Start making videos, start creating a website, or whatever it is that you want to do in life. Go ahead and start. You're going to progress and get better as you go. So I've got a lot of things going through my head here, and I don't want to make this video too long, but what I was really wanting to focus on is showing you generally the analytics, what's happening with the websites. And they're growing, and I'm going to interject this real fast. All the research I've done watching other people on YouTube, and I have both. I have both websites and YouTubes, and then I link information from each other or to each other. The people that I've been watching, they spend 2 to 3 years flatlining. And then it seems like at 3, 4, 5 years, all of a sudden, it's not just a gradual increase, it's an exponential increase. And I've got, say, 1,000 subscribers. They're at 50,000, 100,000, 250,000 and more. And I look at them, and I'm not the most exciting person, and I can try to be exciting, but then you don't want to be unnatural, or I don't want to be unnatural. But some of these people I see, and I'm thinking, you're not very good. But again, I've got a lot to learn too and get better at. But even when people aren't very good, when you're consistent, you have something great to talk about, a great story, a great product. If you found that niche and you found an audience, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to look perfect. You don't have to talk perfect. You can be really successful just being yourself. So don't try to act like somebody else. Don't try to be as awesome as some of the personalities you know. Because if you do that, it's going to bite you later. And I've seen several successful people talk about that, where they started out trying to be somebody else, trying to have a different persona. And eventually they came back to who they are, and they lost a lot of subscribers, but then they started growing again, and it was more genuine. Well, anyway, these are a lot of things that I think about daily. I'm planning, the websites are growing. Right now I'm looking at FreedFromWork. What's my next video on FreedFromWork? So I'm thinking that through this week. What am I going to do next? And I've already gave you a hint that might be diving deep into really how Hiking Emergency got going and the reasons why I did certain things. That may be the next video. On FreedFromWork, what's the next video? And I'm looking at why I chose Hiking Emergency Beacon and that niche, and how I chose to develop that site. On Hiking Emergency Beacon now, the next thing I'm looking at is I've just now created another video on dictating your messages using a satellite messenger if it's synced to your phone. So I just finished that. So I'm going to be editing that video and creating an article in the next 2-3 days. What's next after that? That I haven't quite figured out. I may be comparing two messengers. I may be writing about Grace's Garmin Epic 2. Not sure, but I'm working on that to figure that one out. Mike and Rick Outdoors, as I told you earlier, I've got 3 or maybe 4 or 5 months of videos and articles I can create. And I've got a whole list of them, and I didn't go through them here before I got on this video. But no joke, I think I've got 30 different videos that I can create. So I'm going to go back and look at them and see which one's the bigger the priority. And I'll just say real quick, sometimes the priority changes because, say, cool right here, this hat. They send me and Mike free gear, hats, shirts, pants. And so when they send things to us, or Paramount Outdoors sends us free fishing gear, chest waders, Mike has hip waders, we both have wading boots and shirts and hats. And so when they sent, in particular with Paramount Outdoors, they've sent Mike and I and his daughter about $1,500 or more worth of gear. And we've already done a lot of videos on their boots and their waders and all. We're still getting ready. This is one of the things we're going to be doing with his daughter is we're going to go, or he's going to go out with his daughter to a river, probably in Arkansas, and do some fishing there, some videos, and do the reviews with her. But that's where I'm thinking right now, and I'm going, okay, what's next priority? And if somebody has sent us free gear, that goes up a notch a bit because they're expecting for what they gave us to see some videos and some reviews. So all that comes into play when I'm thinking about this, or sometimes I'll talk to Mike and we'll say, okay, what's next? So that's really what's going on right now. I've got a bunch of videos for Mike and Rick Outdoors that I can do, and I've got to pick one. And then FreedFromWork, I think I know what I'm going to do next. And then Hiking Emergency Beacon, still thinking about that one. But it's all about planning right now. And I've got a few videos that I can make. And while I'm making those videos, and I'm thinking about what's coming next. And I'm going to leave with this last item or tip. You have to mentally get prepared to do your videos and your writing. Because as most of you know, you're not always in a mood to write or do a video. Take, for example, right now, I have been working for 2 days on drone video of the Miramonte Reservoir, and I had about 3-4 hours of video, and it took forever. It wasn't technically hard, but it took forever to get that down to about an hour of just the best video all around this lake. It was gorgeous. And then after that, I created a 1-minute video. And getting through just creating that video took a long time, and then I had to upload it, and I had to do all these different things. And then I had to create an article. And the article was easy because it was just, hey, here's some photos, and then down at the bottom, here's the link to the video. So some of it's not hard, but you have to mentally get in the game. And you got to think about what's next. And what I was going to say here is, it is almost 10 o'clock at night. I had worked so hard on all these videos and this drone videos, and that was just September's video of Miramonte Reservoir. I've got November's videos of Miramonte Reservoir when it was snowing outside. Well, it wasn't snowing where we were at, but there was snow in the mountains. It was 12 to 15 degrees at night. I still have to do those videos. And I had finished all that, and I laid down on the bed, and I was laying down because I was tired, and I was testing the dictation with Hiking Emergency Beacon. How does it work when you test or dictate between your phone and the messenger? How does that all work? And I am still learning that, but I did get the basics out, and I got the video done. So I was laying down, and I actually had fallen asleep. But I have a lot of things I want to do tomorrow. I have a brand new chandelier I need to put up in the dining room, and I want to put up some Christmas lights. So in order to have time to do those things tomorrow, I was just thinking, like, well, okay, tonight's perfect. I don't need to go outside to do these videos. I can come in here to my studio that's under construction. It's going to be a while before I get that done. But what I did is about 8 o'clock, 8:30, I went and took a shower. I shaved, I got cleaned up, because for me, getting cleaned up and taking a shower, brushing my teeth, all that, helps me mentally to stand here in front of this video and talk to you rather than being a slob and talking to you in this video. So these are all things I think mentally you gotta think about, consider. Depending on what you're gonna do in life, if you choose to build a business of some fashion or another, what do you need to do to be prepared to do the best or be the best in that business? And so these are just some tips and ideas of what I do. And we're all different, and you would do just things different than me, but what this channel is about is the journey I'm on, and it's about what I do to create financial freedom and financial independence. So continue watching, follow me, because this is a long journey, and you're going to see a lot of success. Not sure when that's going to happen, but you wait and see. You're going to see it if you stay with me and watch. So I'll see you in the next video.